morning again, everybody. This is Deirdre from Quick Software. Today you're stuck with me. I will be dealing about importing of your allocations. Now, what does importing of allocations mean? It's literally if you get a remittance advice from your supplier and they were nice enough to send it to you in Excel, or somehow you got it into Excel, that you can come into QuickTrav and that you can go and tell QuickTrav, hey QuickTrav, I'm not going to go and do all these allocations. And it's particularly handy if it's something like 80 or 90 lines. Okay, what it will do is if you follow my rules that I'm going to show you now, the system will create a little journal for you, although we pull it into an allocation, and it does it for you. Now, who wouldn't want that? I know I definitely want that. I've done it at a few clients where they had problems and they had to recapture some stuff because they lost their data for weird reasons, ransom, etc. And they were like crying, no, I don't want to lose my work. And I said, don't worry, you're not going to spend hours anymore on doing allocations. And you know, if there's like hundreds and thousands of lines in there and you don't want to go and do it manually, I have a solution. So this is going to be a quick thing. If I can, of course, keep this little mouth of mine intact and say, don't talk too much. So yeah, if you're all ready to rock and roll, this is what we're going to do. Can we go ahead? If you don't say no, I'm going to assume it's a yes. Okie doke, so what happened? Hi, Jan. Oh, a lot of people joined. Hi, everybody. Hi, Lynn from sunny Cape Town. And Alta, Samantha, everybody else. All right. Right, guys. So I received a remittance advice from ABC Construction. They said to me, Deirdre, thank you very much. We are going to pay you a total of 104,000 Rand. Now, bear in mind that this is not 900 lines. I didn't have time to go do 900 invoices. So you will be stuck with like a measly 12 lines, but it works on the exact same principle. You are all able to see my screen, correct? Thank you, Lynn. All right. So we have a date on here. They've given us an invoice. They've given us the invoice number. They've given us some details, and they've also given us an amount. All right. Now, from here, you need to go and do that allocation voucher. So what I normally say is keep your Excel spreadsheet open like this. Obviously, if they don't put a HOF in front of things like that, we'll talk about that now. If they don't put that in, you're going to have to become a bit more proficient in Excel. Okay. And whilst I can show you the Excel stuff, it's not my job. I don't want to say not my job, but my time constraint does not allow me to teach you Excel. But guys, trust me, there's some awesome YouTube videos if you don't know Excel all that well and you want to try and understand how to get a HOF in front. We use concatenate and those lovely stuff. Or if you want to take one little thing into separate columns, we use text to columns. If you really want to, then I can show you, but I'm going to just assume right now you guys know how to do it. And if you don't, pop me a mail. I'll do a small little YouTube video and then we'll upload it. Small YouTube videos is easy. Okie dokes. So here's my remittance advice. Now, they've given me a total of 104,869.21. I'm just going to write that amount down. Now, what's the first step we're going to have to do? Our very first step is we're going to go check, is the money actually in the bank? Once we can confirm it's in the bank, we then need to go do a receipt, right? So I think you all know how to do receipts. You've had some training, but I'm going to show you again. Go into a new receipt, enter the date that they've paid us. I didn't look, and I think my remittance advice does not have a date, so I'm just going to assume it's the 31st of May. Sorry, Deirdre was naughty. Source reference, that's my bank statement number, as well as a line number. If you use another method to keep track of what's going on, by all means, whatever you use, that is fine. We just normally use that when we do training or when we do books ourselves. You can, at this point in time, put in a bank in there where you do the auto deposit to. If you leave it blank, what's going to happen, it's just going to create the receipt. It will not create the deposit slip for you, which in end means it's not going to go straight to the GL or into your actual cash book if you have full and main like I've got here. Okay, so there we go. My account type is not a referral debtor. This is a real debtor. And the account number, I can't remember. So I'm going to just start typing in. And it was actually ABC Trading. Sorry, not construction, but ABC Trading. Once it's done, system pops up a whole thing. And of course now it gives me a balance which I need to put in. Now at this stage, I can quite happily go and allocate, but I'm not going to, because remember, I'm pretending there's like 100 lines on here and I don't have the time for it. Maybe I want to go home, but I wanted to capture the receipt and I want to do it tomorrow, whatever the reason might be. You can go and choose to do it later. All right. Now, Nushan asked a good question. Is EFT and direct deposit the same thing? For me, it is. We gave you so many options on the receipt type to cover every single type of request or type of thing you want to do. What you do need to know is that the only time you'll really look at this is if you're going to do a report based on your receipt type. And it would then become prudent to know how many EFTs you have versus direct deposits. The net effect that happens is the money comes into your bank. Whether it's a direct deposit or an EFT, it has the exact same result. Linda is saying for them it's also the same thing. So yes, technically it's the same thing. Somebody just thought of EFT and said, listen, EFT must be different from a direct deposit. It's still the same thing. The money came into your account. Okay. All right, so now I'm ready. As I said, I've got multiple reasons why I'm not going to do this allocation. You can think of many good reasons. At this stage, I'm going to save it as banked and confirmed. Right, now, it's all great fun and wonderful. I've done the receipt. Maybe I was forced to do it over month end. And I had to get that month end out, but I wasn't able to do my allocations, whatever the reason is. And remember, you can do these allocations 3 months down the line, or you can do them the same day. There is no restriction on how far back you can go to do an allocation. Now, to do allocations, as you already know, it's underneath File, and it is either your debtors allocation voucher, or if you have the full one-man, you also have the option of doing creditors allocations. All right, I'm going to do debtors allocation vouchers now, and all you're going to do is you're going to go in here. The first thing that you need to do, or please need to remember, is that you need, at the very least, to go and specify the account number that you want to import this allocation for. Okay, the minute I do that, my debtor pops up and it tells me, okay, this is the balance, but underneath I still have all my outstanding or open items, I should say, not outstanding, but open items. And now I need to allocate. Now again, as I said to you, you can come and do this manually. I'm pretending this is millions of lines and I'm way too lazy to do that. To import, which is going to become your new best friend, you're going to go down to import. The following screen is going to open up and it's going to say, hi, I'm doing import allocation from my spreadsheet. And guys, this is not just limited to Excel. It will also do the other applications for you as well. So it's not just Excel. Mine just picked up, I've used Excel before. So it will definitely work. Now, it's no, Daniela. Daniela is saying, will it import from a PDF? Absolutely not, because it needs to take those columns and it needs to write it in. What you can do is you can export from PDF into an Excel spreadsheet or that Office Calc or whatever it's called. You can export in there, but it needs it in one of those spreadsheet files. Okay, it will not do a PDF. I'm very sorry. Okay, you know that Adobe has got a PDF converter that can export for you into Word and Excel. Just go have a look. They have got that application, and I think there is other people that will do it for free. I'm just not sure how secure your data is. All right, so only Excel or that Open Office Calc or whatever it's called. Now at this stage, there is nothing and it's asking for a file. Now before you start creating this file, you're going to need to know some things. And it's very, very handy for you to go down to this help button. If you click on the help button, the system's going to say, guys, please remember your spreadsheet must contain the following. 1, it needs a start table that looks like this, your bracket table, close your bracket in column 1. And then it says it needs other stuff. Now I'm going to take this real slow, and I hope you will forgive me. If you already know this, forgive us, I promise. It's going to make method to the madness. I'm just trying to get my screens a little bit smaller, and of course what happens? It goes into full big mode. And I'm like, this is not working for me. Okay, so I'm trying to run both screens parallel so that you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully it's going to make some sense. Is it big enough for all of you to see? Can I, if not, perfect. Okay. Thank you very much, whoever answered me. I appreciate that. All right, so now it says your spreadsheet must contain a start table, doing that table in the brackets. Now what I do is straight here in my actual remittance that I got or that I exported into Excel, I'm going to go right click, I'm going to go move or copy, and I'm going to literally go and create a copy. Now once it does that, at the bottom, it now allows me to work. Now, because it's saying it wants it in column 1, I'm telling you now, also assume if it says column 1, it must be row 1. So what do? We're going to get rid of all the stuff we don't need. We don't need the details of the client. Do you agree with me? Oh, I need to remove this in its entirety. Ding. Oh, Deirdre, you're so... Oh, God, it's just getting worse. Delete. Where are you? Delete. I just got you. Does the same thing. So in row 1, column 1, which is actually A, if you think about it, you're going to type in exactly what my system says. It tells you it wants the table. Okay? Cool. If we then look on the right-hand side, it says number 2, it wants a header row using the column headers below. It can be in any order, but no blank columns in between. And then only it'll do data row. So now it's saying it needs headers. Now the headers it wants is a SRC, which is the source code, the reference, which is the source reference, the date, which will be the date that we're going to allocate to, and this entry, which is going to be the amount. Now you'll agree with me, do we have date? Yes, we do have a column for the date. Do we have a column for the source? The source is, what type of document was it? Yes, we do. The source here will be SRC. So we're changing that. Now, in case you're wondering what kind of sources we have INV, which is your invoice. We have REC, which is receipts. I'm just going to move my mouse here. Sorry about that. We have J&L, which is a journal, and CRN, which is a credit note. Those are the only 4 options that you can use when you import this particular allocation. All right, so if you have a journal in here, or maybe you have a credit note in here, that's cool. That is fine. You just need to tell the system which one of the 4 it is. And those are your 4 codes. So I know it didn't have it in here and it's not specifying the sources, and that's why I'm putting it down here. So you'll always use either an invoice, receipt, journal, or credit note. There's never something else that you can go and allocate against. All right. I suppose if you really want to and you made a payment and you want to allocate a payment, then you could have a payment as well, which is your PMT. Right. But I haven't come across that very often. People normally do like a negative receipt in Win Main Light as opposed to a payment. Okay. So source. So now I'm going to say these documents, are they invoices, are they receipts, whatever. If they had the entire word that says invoice, then please, guys, you need to go and change them into these codes that I have here at the bottom. Okay. Once you've done the source, you then now need to move over into the document number. And as I said to you previously, a lot of the times you're not going to have a HOF there. Am I right? If you're going to say yes, then what I'll do is I'll quickly show you how to put that HOF in. Okay. Linda, would you like me to show you quickly? Show us. Okay. I'm going to quickly maximize or make my screen bigger so I can get to my find and all of that nonsense. Okay. Now, a lot of times what happened is they just give you a number like this. And it's like, and you're like, what the hell? I don't know what to do and how am I going to get all of this done? We know that my system said it wants something with a document number and it wants to have the HOF in front. Why is that HOF there? On your invoices, you have branches. Some of you might have multiple branches. And I'm specifically talking to Cheryl here. Cheryl, you guys have different branches, all of that. If you're going to say to me, Deirdre, I don't know what my code is, I'm going to show you. Now, generally, it'll already appear in your main module. Okay, so when you look at your main module, let's open it up a bit bigger. If you need to speak, you're welcome. In here, it will show you what that prefix for your branch would be. Okay, so you will need to go and make sure that you have those prefixes in. If you don't, then obviously my system's not going to know which branch to allocate to, which division, etc., etc. Mona, morning. Would you like to ask something, milady? Mona? I'm going to mute you, my baby, because I'm hearing your background noise. I was assuming you want to ask something. All right, so now let's get back into this Excel spreadsheet. Guys, it's going to feel like, oh my word, this is hectic. I don't want to do it. What? As soon as you get used to it, trust me, you will love it. Okay. One thing I wanted to do, and that was my mistake, I'm just going to go one back. I'm just going to put this thing into a text thing so that it doesn't do the getting rid of all my zeros here for me. Otherwise, I have to show you even more. Okay, it's clearly not doing it, so tough cookies. Now, to put in that half, you're going to insert a column before, and you're going to use some formulas. Formula, text, concatenate. Now it's opening up this block here. What you need to do, and again, go check what your branch code is. You might not have a HOF. You might have something else. So go check quickly in main module what it is, and then come in here and put it in. So what am I saying? I'm saying HOF dot, and of course, where am I getting this info? Can you see here at the reference it has a HOF dot? That's where I got it from. I used my inverted brackets because I'm basically saying you need to put this text in for me before you do anything else. And then the next step I would say is comma, and then I'm just going to click on the column that I want to copy. When I do that, can you see it's going to show me my net result here at the bottom? That is exactly what we want in here. We wanted to say HOF dot followed by the document number. All right, and you will then, unfortunately for you, you'll need to copy that across all your lines. So you can just do a copy paste. Right, now when we make this smaller, obviously we've done all this hard work now, but my system needs to tell me what is that reference that we're going to use. So when we import, whoopsie, it's a bit small. Sorry about that. Let me just get back in there. Oh, yes, see. Is it now really this big? So sorry about this. I was hoping it's going to stay nice and small and behave like a good child, and it wasn't. All right. Would this invoice number stay document number? No. We're going to change it to this header that they ask for on the left side. And they're saying type it in as you see it, which in this case is reference. Now, if you don't want to type it over, remember you can copy the field and quite simply in here, go and paste it. All right, so do we now have a source? Yes, we have a column for source. Do we have a column for reference? Yes, we have a column for reference. Do we have dates? Absolutely, there's our dates. What is left? Left is a column that says this entry. Where's the actual amount now needs to come into play? Now remember at the top it says to you it does not want any blank columns. So what do I need to do now? I now need to go and I need to insert this column and I need to go and put it in there. So I'm going to say this entry and I'm going to go take my amounts, copy it and paste it. Okay, you do not need to switch the amounts because of course they are correct. Right, remember when you're doing this allocation, you're allocating against the invoice. It's not a credit that you're going to allocate against the invoice. That credit is going to lie in your actual receipt. Does it make sense? Thank you, Linda. Right, so now it says here, all right, your spreadsheet must contain the table. Do we have the table? We do have the table. Tick. The next one it says is we need a header row so that we can explain what things are underneath. Do we have a header row? Line 2, we do. Tick. Number 3, data rows. Do we have actual data? Yes, we do. It then says to you, please make sure there's no blank record. So I need to remember that something must now come here. What is the bottom one? It says to you, the very last thing you need to do is please, you need to put an end table data tag in there to tell the system, stop looking for it. And all you're going to do is you're going to go and say bracket slash table. Don't be like me, do it the right way. And please, if you see something in caps, we want it in caps. Okay, there's a reason why we have the ways we have. It's the same with this entry. A lot of people put that E for entry in lowercase. And my system, when you try and import, is going to be like, I don't want to read you, I don't want to see you, I don't want to know. And please put it the exact way as you have it in here and as it is specified, and it will be better for you. All right, so that's what it says there. It then tells you any data outside the tags and any columns that does not match one of my headers will be ignored. Okay, so it's basically saying it is going to ignore details and amount. Now, if you OCD, by all means, at this stage, you can go and delete these columns, okay? You can if you want to. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I like keeping it there so that if something goes wrong with this import, I can go and see what exactly was on it and why it was there and why it didn't work in the end. Jan said, so the document number column you delete. Where are you seeing that? In here. Oh, it was just moved across.
It's next. It's next to. You've got your reference HOF894 and then document number 859.
Yeah, I didn't delete it. Did you notice I didn't delete it?
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering, shouldn't you delete it?
Okay, here's my thing, guys. What I'm going to show you now, but I'll undo. If I go and I delete this, have a close look at what happens with reference. Why is it doing that? Because when I ran this formula, this concatenate was looking at the reference in D3. Okay, if you want to delete it at this stage, I would highlight, I would go copy, and I would paste, but paste value, please. Okay, if I paste the value, now can you see how it changed? It's no longer a formula. I can then go and I can go and delete it. It was a very good question. Well done on seeing that, because you've just, people would have been like, oh my gosh, it got, yeah, that's, so please, I would copy, and very important, paste value, just the result, not the actual formula, paste value, and it will give you the actual value in here. So this, in essence, is what your journal will look like. All right, at this point in time, you now have to go and save it somewhere where you can go and find it. All right, so you can go File, Save As, save it wherever. I'm not going to show you how to save. I'm going to assume you know how to save. And what you're going to do is you're going to then go and import. So let's go back. I'm going to just maximize my invoice main module again so that you can see exactly what's going on. Right. So back in my allocation, I'm now going to go to import. I'm going to go and look for the transaction that I just created, not transaction, the physical journal that I just created now in the Excel spreadsheet. And I'm going to go say read from Excel. The minute I click on read, it's going to go into that file. And because you gave it headers and you had the start and the end tags in there, my system was like, I'm going to check everything in between here. Does it have a date? Yes. Does it have a source? Yes. Does it have a reference? Yes. Does it have an entry? Woohoo! And as you can see, it's even copying all the other details as well for me. It's not going to write them. It's just saying I found other stuff too. Okay. If I now go and I say write allocations, the system's going to say, are you sure you want to import your hard work? And I'm like, hell yeah. Simply import it. The minute it is done, it'll run through all those lines and it'll throw out this beautiful, beautiful message saying, I found it, I imported it, and you can have some tea now. And all you're going to do is you're going to say yes. Right. Now, one thing I forgot to do in that spreadsheet is I never allocated my 104,000 Rand receipt. Okay. Nobody realized I didn't do that. I specifically didn't do that. And now my system is saying, listen here, thank you. I have an allocated amount of 12 transactions with a value of 104,000, but you're not balancing, Deirdre. And no, I'm not, because I never said that my receipt number 8 was actually part of the transactions. What have I done wrong, guys? What have I done wrong? Have I done it the wrong way? Oh, I swear to heavens I did. I knew I was doing it wrong.
You must do a minus next to
Thank you. See, there's a reason why you're so clever. I know. I was playing with it earlier on, and it didn't. I was like, it worked, and then I was completely sidetracked, of course, because coffee, you know, is more important than putting my minuses in. You need to minus them, guys, because you're saying you're paying them. If you don't minus them, you're increasing them. All right, so let's go and save this OK again. This bad boy, and let's try and re-import them. Now the good news is I can simply clear all of this and I can import again. Hopefully it's going to read from that Excel spreadsheet. Yes, it is. And right. I at this point actually could have put in that receipt, couldn't I? I was just very naughty. There you go. And that's how easy it is to import.
Deirdre?
Ma'am,
why
yes.
would you do such a long transaction when you could just do a quick receipt?
I did the receipt and I could do the allocation in the actual receipt. The only reason why we're showing you importing is because a lot of the agencies have government departments, and that particular transaction has like 300 invoices that you need to go and allocate. And this is why you would do it. Please don't do it for 12, guys. No, not for 12. If it's way more, like your big government departments where it's big tenders and lots of, then I would actually absolutely use this. Otherwise, it would be a time waste.
Thank you.
No, pleasure. Now, as I said to you earlier on, as we have the importing for your debtors allocation vouchers, if you are using full one main, please bear in mind, everybody, that you can also do the allocation for your creditor. So let's say you've got Avis and you've got a whole lot of car rental that you did with Avis with multiple lines, then you can do exactly what I did now, for them. And I'm going to show you what the creditors one looks like. Okay, guys, again, I don't have lots of data, but you get the gist of it. And in here, you can see I've basically created something with a date, a source, a reference, and then, of course, this entry. Please keep in mind that you need to swap your amounts. I'm sorry, I thought I already did that. I didn't. Okay. If you then do these, then of course it's almost like contouring, it's allocated. When you now monitor an account, you can go into your monitor an account and you can say hide closed and hide closed, and it'll get rid of all the stuff that you've already allocated. It's really cool for your big companies or your big suppliers if you have it. All right. Stacey's saying, I have a client who's not done proper remittances for 1.5 years. Oh my word. Okay. We're going through the process of reversing remittances and reallocating. This is going to save so much time. Stace, I'm so happy I could show you something that will be of benefit to you. Thanks for joining. Any other questions? Anything else you want to know? You have happy. She says she's got happy tears. Well, if you have happy tears, then I'm happy. That's all that's important. All right. As I said to you, you're not going to do this on 10 or 12 odd lines, but if it's big and it's huge, then I would strongly suggest using this.
Deirdre, can I ask a quick
Yes.
question? And not
Of course. Jan, you muted yourself, my baby.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Sorry, it's just related to the Excel spreadsheet. You changed that column into minus figures in like two movements. Did you just highlight the column, and then how did you change that into minus figures?
I just basically, in my entry, I said minus, and I chose the column that I want to copy. And then all I did is I said copy and paste. Control V. So if you know your shortcuts, it becomes
Yeah, I do.
nice.
Yeah, okay. So if you minus the first column and then copy down, it'll change it all to minus.
Yeah.
I
Your
haven't
other
seen that.
option is also doing the drop down, and then it'll copy all of them across. It does the same thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. No, thank you very much. I hope this was of benefit. Finally, I've stuck within my 40-minute rule. We were supposed to keep our videos to 40 minutes. I did it this time. I feel very happy. Stace, you happy? I'm happy. Finally, I'm within my time limit. Okay. Any other questions? I'm so glad you learned something.
Thanks, Deirdre.
Anytime, my dears. That's what we're here for.